All right, folks, we are live. I want to welcome you to our webinar today. My name is Justin Heatherly. I will be your presenter. We got some folks that are still trying to connect. So while they're trying to get on board, which happens every webinar, I'll go over a few housekeeping items. Today's session is what we would call an emergency session on FERS, the Federal Employee Retirement System. We're going to go ahead and look at retirement options, everything from normal retirements to early, to deferred, to postponed, and what buyouts are, etc. With this being such a broad topic, we thought that a brief webinar explaining these things is absolutely needed. Now, our firm does not work for the federal government. We've been a contractor that does retirement training for the past 20 plus years in the federal space. I've worked with the Department of the Treasury, Department of Defense, Homeland Security, you name it. I've probably done a briefing for that agency, or I've helped folks retire there. So we know your system quite well. What we'll discuss today are the rules on retirements under FERS, and we will discuss these in a general manner, okay? Now, specifics to your situation need to be discussed one-on-one. So once we're finished today, you will get a link to my calendar so you can get on and schedule a one-on-one with me where we can look at your specific situation under the FERS system and maybe some things that you've been offered, or what are your options for retirement, and really kind of how that would all look together. We will set that up as a one-on-one session, either via Zoom on the phone or in person if you're in the San Diego area. We do not charge the employees to help them. So this is a free webinar and a free one-on-one session with a certified federal benefit specialist and registered fiduciary. Okay. Looks like everybody is on board here. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's get started. First thing we'll look at here is a copyright notice. The information I'm going to go over with you today is copyrighted, so you may not record this presentation in any manner or reproduce any of the materials of this workbook, please. Okay, welcome to the 2025 Understanding Your FERS Retirement Options presented by CSE Capital Management and Insurance Services. That is our firm. We are based out of San Diego. However, we do have clients throughout the whole country. We've been creating value for about 24 years. Okay, so I've been working with federal employees, helping them, teaching them for a long time. So I know your system pretty well. Just some information about ourselves here. I'm the president of CSE. I'm also an investment advisor through WealthWatch Advisors. That's an SEC registered firm. And then I have my staff here, which are my two older daughters, Jenna and Jordan. Just some information about us here, working with the DOD, IRS, FBI, DEA, Secret Service, Customs, all these agencies that know where to find you if you don't give them the right information. So I've also worked a lot in the private sector for different big companies. I'm born and raised in northern New Jersey. I've been married to my best friend for over 31 years now, and I have 3 amazing daughters and 8 dogs, but don't tell anybody about that. A couple disclaimers. The information I'm going to share with you today is shared basically in a generic manner. This is the rules. This is how they work. Your specific situation, specific advice for you is done when we do our one-on-one. So when we're finished today, you will get a link to my calendar to get on there so we can schedule our one-on-one, and then I can share with you how these benefits affect you personally. Another disclosure, if I was to discuss any investments, it's not to be taken as specific investment advice, but we're not going to really get into any investing. Okay, the Federal Employee Retirement System was created in 1986, and it became effective January 1st, 1987. The old system, CSRS, was basically you work for so many years, you get a pension to replace your income. It's very expensive to maintain pension programs. So in the mid-'80s, they realized this, and they split that CSRS program into 3 categories. You still get a pension, just like under CSRS, but you will get Social Security and your TSP. Your pension will be about half of what a CSRS employee would get, though. Okay. But they split these into three categories. In theory, each one of these is meant to be to replace a third of your income. Your pension's meant to replace a third, Social Security a third, and TSP a third. In theory, in a perfect scenario, that's the way it was designed. Federal pension is what's considered a defined benefit, just like Social Security. TSP is a defined contribution plan. TSP, you're throwing a bunch of money into that, getting matching, etc. At some point in the future, you have to figure out how to make that income. But under defined benefit plans, you have a formula that you fall under based on your income, based on how many years and factors and age and all that, and then it will tell you how much you're eligible to receive on a monthly basis. So FERS retirement eligibility, you have to first, under normal parameters, you have to first meet your minimum retirement age based on when you were born with 30 years, age 60 with 20, or age 62 with 5. If you're in any of these three camps, you can retire with an immediate pension with no penalties. Minimum retirement age based on when you were born. So if you were born in 1968, your minimum retirement age would be 56 and 8 months. If you're born after 1970, it's 57, and so forth. It's important to know, if you're younger, what your minimum retirement age is, and I'm sure you do, because that comes into play if you're taken early out or retire early and so forth. So FERS retirement eligibility outside normal parameters. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is what's called involuntary discontinued service. But before I talk about that, I want to, I don't want to say necessarily make a statement, but I want to share something with you. During this initial phase of this trying to get folks to retire and either resign or what have you, I believe that during this initial phase or initial couple phases, if you will, this will be all done on a voluntary basis and see exactly what they can achieve by doing that. I believe down the road, it may turn into involuntary situation. Okay, but that's not going to be the way it is today. So if you to retire under an involuntary discontinued service, and that would have to be a major reorganization of an agency, a reduction in force like a RIF or a transfer of function, you must be age 50 with 20 years or any age with 25 years of service. Now remember that, because age 50 with 20 or any age with 25 years of service falls into the categories for early voluntary retirement as well. And we'll look at that. Now, deferred retirement. A deferred retirement is somebody who has worked for the federal government for at least 5 years and then said, I don't want to work here anymore, and they go work someplace else and do not pull the contributions back out of the retirement system. They are eligible to receive a small pension at age 62. Okay, so they worked for at least 5 years, left, and then after age 62, they can apply for a small pension from the FERS system. It's not going to make anybody rich, and they're not going to come try to track you down for this money. But you need to file and to get that benefit. If you're under a deferred retirement at age 62, you'll get your small pension, but you will not have access to your health insurance, life insurance, or dental and vision. It is just a pension at age 62. That's how it is. Voluntary discontinued service retirement. This is what we would call MRA 1029. You've met your minimum retirement age, which is between 55 and 57, and you have at least 10 years of service. So MRA 1029. You don't have 30, but you have between 10 and 29. If you're in that category, can you retire and get a pension right away and keep your health insurance, life insurance, dental and vision? Yes or no? Yes, you can. However, the catch is your pension would be reduced 5% per year under age 62. That's a permanent reduction. It does not go up when you hit age 62. Okay. Now, if you are MRA 1029 and you say, I want to leave, but I don't need the health insurance, life insurance. I'll need it later. And I don't want this penalty, 5% per year under age 62. Is there a way around that? Yes, you can postpone your retirement. So you left MRA 1029. You were eligible, but you left and said, don't pay me yet, and I don't need those benefits yet. You're postponing what you were eligible for at that time. You just don't want that penalty. So a postponed retirement, then you can pick up your pension at age 62 or age 60 with 20 years. Okay. When you do that, you're eligible to re-enroll in your health insurance, life insurance, dental and vision. But you must have had your FEHB and FEGLI for 5 years prior to you separating the first time. So when you left and postponed all this, you were eligible for all this stuff. You just didn't want it yet. You pick it up later, and then there's no penalty on your pension. So that's what's called a postponed retirement. So deferred, you were not eligible for anything when you left, but you got a pension later. Postponed, you were eligible, but you postponed it till later. Now you get it with no penalty and you get your benefits back, or you have the option to get them back. Now, early outs. Voluntary Early Retirement Authority. Remember I talked about age 50 with 20 or any age with 25 years? Here we go. This is a voluntary situation, but it has to be offered from your agency. So it's not, hey, I know somebody in upper management, give me an early out. They can't do that. It has to be offered. Okay. The authority from OPM, the agency must offer it. It's not an entitlement. It's voluntary for the employee. There's no reduction on your pension, no penalties on any of that. Okay. Now, you're eligible for this at age 50 with 20 or any age with 25 years. Okay. That's what's called a VERA. Another early out is basically the same exact thing, except an incentive payment. So they give you the same offer, the same early out and so forth, but they'll give you a lump sum to leave. Hey, will you leave already? Here's 25 grand now on top of that. So, and it's taxed in the year you receive it. Okay. So this VERA and VSIP are probably going to be very popular right now. But remember, you're retiring under these, you'll have no penalty on your pension. But if you're retiring, let's say you are 51 and you have 23 years and you took this, okay? You'll get a pension, but you will not get what's called the annuity supplement. What the annuity supplement is a what they call Social Security bridge. It's a supplement you get on top of your pension to take the place of Social Security because you're not 62 yet. Under normal parameters, how do you get that? If you're MRA with 30 or age 60 with 20. Okay, so here's the special retirement supplement. Available at MRA to an employee who accepted a voluntary early retirement authority or a VSIP. So if you took that early out, you'll get that pension, but you will not have anything to replace really Social Security in there. Okay. You will get, though, that special retirement supplement when you hit your MRA. So if your MRA, let's say, was 57, at age 57, then all of a sudden your pension goes up by such and such amount. Well, why did that happen? Was that a big COLA? No, you don't get COLAs until age 62. But your special retirement supplement kicked in. And this is on top of your pension, and it is to take the place of Social Security until you hit age 62. At age 62, it ends. So it is like a bridge. It's like you cross the bridge and it's over now. And then, hey, do you collect Social Security or not? Up to you. Okay. Now, how much do they pay you on that? It's based on your age 62 benefit under Social Security. And it's a factor that they use. They divide the number 40 into your years of service. Let's say, for instance, you have 30 years, 40 into 30. Another way of saying that is 0.75. 0.75% of what? 0.75% of your 62 benefit. In this case, it was $900 a month until age 62. One thing you have to consider, though, about this special retirement supplement, and when you take this, is that it has an earnings test. Last year's earnings test was 22,320. I think this year's 2310 or something. Anyway, if you go out and work, if you're getting this and you go out and work and you earn W-2 or 1099 self-employed, Social Security wages, if you earn more than 22,320, well, it was last year's, you will lose $1 for every $2 you go over. So you can start to get that penalized. So you have to plan for this. If you take this early out, or if you retire under normal parameters, you have to plan that you'll be getting this because let's say, for instance, you're getting it for a year, but you've been working. Then when they do your earnings test, hey, you went over, we need some of that money back. Okay. So I've seen situations where it was very expensive and it really was painful to pay some of that back because there was not planning done for it. But you will get this until age 62. And then at age 62, hey, whether or not you collect Social Security, it is up to you. Okay. So in summary, normal retirements are MRA with 30, age 60 with 20, age 62 with 5. Involuntary discontinued service retirement must be any age with 50. Must be age 50 with 20 years or any age with 25 years. No reduction of the 5%. At least 5 years of creditable service at age 62. Voluntary discontinued service retirement, at least 10 years of creditable service, and you are MRA. Postponed to avoid the 5% penalty. If you're under MRA with at least 10 years, then you can postpone that and then pick up your pension at age 62 or age 60 if you have 20 or more years of service. Voluntary Early Retirement Authority, VERA, age 50 with 20, any age with 25 years. Voluntary Separation Incentive Payment, age 50 with 20, any age with 25 years. Capped at 25,000 is the lump sum. That may change if they're really aggressive with this. If you return to the federal government within 5 years after taking the incentive payment program, you must pay it back. Okay. So very quickly going over this information, it can be overwhelming. Where do you fall into these categories? That is why we're offering one-on-ones. So as I'm finished here, as soon as this ends, you will be redirected to my calendar. Make sure you get on my calendar with the first available that you can. I'm setting apart probably the next 2-3 weeks. We're really meeting with folks specifically about these situations. So just get on board as quickly as you can while the information is fresh, and we will do our best to help you. If anything, get you some of the best information to make the best decision that you can. If you need help overall planning these things, we will help you. We do not charge the employees to do any of those things. Okay. So with all that said, thanks so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.